This video is going to be all about how goalies can improve their ankle mobility. This was a question I got in one of my previous YouTube videos, so in this video I'm going to go through some exercises that will increase your ankle mobility, making it easier for you to train off the ice, and of course do anything on the ice as a goalie. First, a quick explanation on the ankle. The ankle can move in 4 different directions. There's plantar flexion, which you can think about as pointing your toes away from your shin. And then the opposite of that is dorsiflexion, which is pointing your toes towards your shin. There's inversion, which is rotating your feet inward, and eversion, which is rotating your feet outward. If you've ever sprained your ankle, you probably inverted it too much. Eversion sprains can happen, but they are much less common. As goalies, and really as people who want to be healthy and pain-free in general, ankle mobility is really important. You want to be able to have the right dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. You need to be able to evert and invert your foot. And think about skating specifically. If you want to get down to get more pressure out of the ice and put more force into the ice, you need to be able to dorsiflex your foot. You need to be able to flex and get more out of each stride. And as goalies, you also want to have that eversion ability too. So that way you can hold a wide butterfly stance low to the ice, and you're still able to hold that mobility and stay on your edges. Ankle mobility is also important because if our body doesn't have the right mobility in our ankles, we will compensate somewhere else. That could be in our knees or our hips or our lower back. With that being said, we don't want too much mobility in the ankles. Excessive range of motion just opens you up to more injuries. I don't want you rolling your ankles when you're on the ice or working out. I love mobility and it's necessary, but I prefer strength if we're comparing the two. You should be aiming for adequate levels of mobility with increasing amounts of strength and not the other way around. You shouldn't just be trying to increase your mobility without also increasing your strength at the same time. It's important for me to mention that some of the exercises I'm going to show you have been influenced by trainers like Connor Harris and David Gray. If it wasn't for people like them, I would have had a more basic approach to treating ankle mobility, which can still work, but I don't think is as effective and I don't think is as adequate for solving certain problems. Those drills where you just move your knee towards the wall while trying to stretch the back of your foot, they can help, but I don't think that's enough. And it's been nice to be able to learn from smarter people and trainers and coaches that go into more specific and more advanced exercises like Connor Harris and David Gray. I'm going to show you the exercises now, starting with the more basic ones and then finishing with one that's a little bit more advanced and more technical, but is really effective for a lot of people who have trouble getting enough mobility in their ankles and really throughout their whole body. Exercise 1 is called ankle cars. So you may have heard of controlled articular rotations, also known as cars from functional range conditioning. I've done this exercise many times in the past. It's really good for moving your ankle through that full range of motion. Very simple, go slowly, really see how much range of motion you can work through. Do 10 full repetitions in one direction, then repeat for 10 reps in the other direction. Do the same with the other foot. I would start my ankle mobility routine with this exercise because it's easy and it gets your ankle joint warmed up with a full range of motion movement. This next exercise is the ankle alphabet. This one is a staple in ankle rehab everywhere. I used to sprain my ankle way too often, and this is one of the rehab exercises that I was given. I don't think it's super effective, but it is a nice option that you can do anywhere. Basically, you write out the letters of the alphabet with your foot. Truthfully, you'll probably get bored before you get to the letter Z. But even working through a few letters can get your ankle working in different ways, challenging your mobility and your strength. Go through the alphabet for each foot, A to Z, or until you get bored. If you're going to skip any exercise in this routine, you can probably skip this one, but it is a nice challenging exercise to get your ankle moving and get it a little bit stronger. The deep squat hold is an exercise I use all the time for hip mobility, but really it's all connected, and this will work your ankle mobility as well. You can take a weight in your hand to help you balance and sink deeper into the movement. Lower yourself into a squat as deep as you can comfortably go and hold that anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes, going deeper throughout as you get more comfortable. If you need to hold on to something to balance, feel free to do so. That's absolutely okay. This one I'm just calling foot and ankle movement. It was inspired by some videos I've seen from David Gray with his rehab and what he does for ankle mobility. Basically, you just move the foot. So you kneel on the ground, move the knees over the toes, pull the toes up towards the shin, point the toes down using the ground, roll the foot around through inversion and eversion, moving your tibia. Basically, just spend a few minutes moving around, moving your foot, moving your ankle, moving your leg, and just get comfortable exploring different ranges, different types of movement. Don't push too hard, but just slowly ease into this, experiment, try different things out, going slowly and in a steady manner, nothing too crazy, but this is a good way to explore different ranges and then work your mobility by doing that. This exercise I'm calling side lunges. So this is similar to a Cossack squat. Basically, you are doing side lunges and moving in different directions while keeping your feet flat on the floor. This allows you to stretch the areas of your ankle and get into that inversion and eversion that we can sometimes need on the ice, especially if you're trying to hold a deep stance position, something that you'd see UC Saros do, for example. So you can do this for about 2 sets of 10 reps for each leg, and it's just a nice way to increase your mobility and work on that inversion, eversion. I'm calling these step backs, and these are similar to the Cossack squats. This is something that I also got from David Gray. So basically you are just stepping behind you, kind of like a reverse lunge, but you're making sure to focus on that foot in front, making sure that you're not letting either side of the foot, either the inside or the outside, come off the floor. This allows you to get a little bit more of an ankle mobility challenge. You explore different ranges of motion, and it's something that I think you'll find really helpful. And this last one is a pronation drill, heavily inspired by David Gray and Connor Harris. What you're doing here is moving your knee forward while keeping the weight in the middle and the heel of your foot. So you use a sock in that area of your foot. You want the inside arch of the foot to feel and sense that sock and allow you to sink that area of your foot into the ground through the sock. To truly dorsiflex our foot, we need pronation. We need that inside arch of the foot to drop down, to sink into the ground while keeping the rest of your foot in contact with the ground as well. To effectively move the knee over the foot, which is something that we think about in terms of ankle mobility and dorsiflexion, we need the talus bone to drop to make space and prevent that pinching area that you might get in the front of your foot or your ankle area. This is a fairly advanced exercise, and it's advanced because it's not just a simple movement. It is about sensing the ground and being able to unlock mobility by using pronation. This is something that you can use as more of an advanced fix for ankle mobility. A lot of people will try to stretch their ankles, they'll try to do a ton of things for ankle mobility, and they're getting that pinch in the front of their foot, in the front of their ankle. This allows you to make space in the foot so that you can get true dorsiflexion. It's really helpful. It is something I learned about fairly recently, but I think it's really important, and it's something that you should consider if the other exercises aren't getting you the ankle mobility that you need. In my opinion, for a lot of people, good, proper training will have your ankle mobility adequate enough for whatever you need to do, including goaltending. Squatting, dropping the shin in hinges, plyometrics, these kinds of exercises and ways of training should make your ankle mobility good enough for whatever you want to do, but some people need extra work, and these exercises will help. When it comes to a routine, you have 2 options with these exercises. Option 1 is you add them into your regular workout, so you can do it for 5 minutes before you go on the ice, or after a workout, or after a game. Whatever you want, you can just do a few minutes, pick a couple exercises, and spend a little bit of time with them. Or option 2 is you have a dedicated ankle mobility day. Now, if you're starting out with this and you need a little bit more work, you can start with 3, 4, 5 days a week, and then cut down over time, because as you increase your ankle mobility, you just need to focus more on maintaining it, and that requires less work. So you can do it twice a week or even once a week, and then you'll get to a point where you probably don't need to have any dedicated ankle mobility days, and you can just have and maintain that mobility from doing your regular workouts and your regular training. If you don't find that ankle mobility or lack of it is an issue for you, I wouldn't suggest focusing on these exercises at all. Just let your regular training and workouts take care of the mobility that you need. But if it's a problem, adding in these exercises and spending a little bit of time on your ankle mobility should really help you, both feeling good on the ice, being able to access different positions in your workouts, like deep squats, or when you're on the ice trying to get into deep butterfly positions, butterfly slides, holding a lower stance. So if ankle mobility is an issue for you, I would do it on a regular basis until I was happy with the levels of ankle mobility that I had, and then I would just try to maintain it from there on. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it helpful. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video if you can, and I will see you in the next one.